Welcome, everyone. Great to have you with us this morning. Before I introduce our speaker, I would like to say farewell to my incredible colleague, Brenna Frankel. For close on 10 years, Brenna has been devoted to ORT, from the small organization it was in 2012 to what it is today. Her commitment and dedication have gone beyond the call of duty, and her ability to see things clearly with an agile and astute mindset has been a huge influence on our growth and success. I thank Brenna for this incredible contribution. We have navigated through many challenges together, always looking at what is best for ORT, our beneficiaries, and our community. I will miss Brenna and wish her all the best with a new chapter in her life. Every Monday morning, thanks, Bren. Every Monday morning, I receive a happy Monday email from Justin with a meaningful quote. I look forward to receiving these as they take a few seconds to read and offer an immediate positive effect that stays with me for the week. Recently, I received this one. Be kind to one another. Be kind to everyone. Everyone has a hidden struggle. This is Justin Cohen, inspiring and equipping people to stay motivated, focused, and true to themselves. Justin encourages organizations to reach their potential, to boost their sales, service, and leadership. Thank you for your ongoing support and being part of the ORT family. It is relationships like these that have enabled ORT to grow and become the organization it is today. Thank you for giving of your time and sharing your message with us. Over to you, Justin.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you, Lisa, and a very, very warm, cold, gorgeous, wonderful, whatever weather you are in right now. I am delighted to come to you from Cape Town, where I have recently moved, and just loving the storm that is raining upon us right now. I don't know why we whinge about the storms. They're absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. So I'm feeling pumped up. I'm feeling excited. I am delighted to be with you all. There's just one little thing that I'm going to ask of you, and that is, I want to see you. See, I don't think this is the new normal. I think this is the new better. The fact that we can come into the session from all over this beautiful country of ours without having to get into our cars is amazing, right? Some of you are even in your pajamas. For all you know, I am half in my pajamas. Actually, this top could be a pajama top for all you know, right? And so the fact that we can be here with so little effort is amazing. But what I'm going to ask you to do is be in the room, because you know how you can be in the room but not be in the room. And I am going to give you my all. In this session, I'm going to share the 3 X factors of success, 3 powerful tools that you can use to transform yourself, your organization, and I promise you it's going to be worth it. But here's the thing. If I can't see you, it makes it really tough for me to really connect with you. And so I see that there is Susan, who has turned on hers. There's Donna. Hello, Donna. There is Jason. There's Graham. There's Teresa. I see, I think it's Bianca, but I can't, because her name is not quite there. There is a Neil. There is Belinda, Sheila, Nicholas, Lauren. Welcome. Hello. See, this is amazing, because now we're having a real session here. And the truth is, folks, this is how it's going to be. I'm not saying we're not going to have live events. We are going to have live events, but increasingly what we can see even in the corporate field is that there's going to be much more hybrid events. And as virtual reality starts to take off, I heard Mark Zuckerberg just a couple of weeks saying that we're in 5 to 10 years and we're going to have holograms. We're going to show up with our holograms. So this is the way it's going to be. But if we're going to get the most out of these sessions, we really need to connect. And what we know about connection, this is something to bear in mind for those of you in business, and even if you're not, if you want to connect with your family, your friends, what we know is that if you want connection, the least best is going to be text. Nothing wrong with text. Text has its place. But if you want to create real connection and rapport, that's at the bottom of the list. Then you've got audio. But audio visual takes it to the next level. You have a much greater degree of connection and rapport and learning and retention, where you can actually see, because so much communication is actually nonverbal. Those of you who are part of my Pitch to Win session, you know that more than 50% of the impact of a communication is not what we say, but how we say it. And I want you to know that, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this with you, right? This session that we're going to have right now is not just Justin doing a dead dump. This is an engagement, and that engagement is powered by your energy. So I really want to thank you. Those of you who've turned on your cameras, it really means a lot there. I can see Paul, I see Sheila, I see Nicholas, I see Cara. Hello, Cara. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Great to be with you. I see someone in the chat saying, I'm multitasking by listening while driving up to the school run. So no, then you definitely want that video off. And of course, we can do this, and that's great as well. So of course, if you're in the car and you are just, or you're going for a run, I had somebody in Romania the other day in one of my sessions who was going for a run while she was listening to it. That's great as well. But if you are able to turn on the camera, and I can see, oh, and I see Cindy even while she's driving. Hello, Cindy. Hi. And that's one of, because emotion is so contagious. Have you noticed this? You know those people who walk into the room and the lights go on? You know those people who walk out the room and the lights go on? What's going on here? You know how positive people lift you up, negative people not so much, right? Because there's a part of the brain called the mirror neuron network. We mirror the emotions and the behavior of the people around us. And so that's why we want to be with who we want to be, right? Be with the people who you want to be, because you will imbibe their emotions. You will imbibe their behavior. You will imbibe their energy, right? And that's what's happening even on a session like this. Even though it's virtual, we are imbibing one another's energy. So this is great. This is connection. It's great to be with you. Really appreciate you guys switching on those cameras. Shall we get to it? Here we go. We are talking about the 3X factors of success this morning. The 3X factors of success. So what is success? Folks, success is the accomplishment of a predetermined objective. How able are you to achieve those predetermined objectives, whether it's regards to your body, your health, your finances, your career, right? To what extent are you able to take a goal, whatever it is, with regards to your relationship, and actually manifest and make it a reality? And I got to say, Lisa, I'm just delighted that you are reading those Monday morning quotes. By the way, those of you who would like those Monday morning quotes, I'm actually going to put it in the chat here. If you sign up at xlife.zone, you will get my, we call those Monday morning X-Life quotes. We also do X-Life Sparks. And one of those that I did pretty recently, I was just thinking, when it comes to success in life, it seems to me there are two critical skills that we need. Number one, how to get what you want. Number two, how to deal with not getting what you want. Yeah? And you realize how critical both those are. Because I can tell you the greatest achievers on this planet don't get what they want all the time. You only have to look at the president of the United States of America, right? The most powerful man in the world is half, maybe most of the time, he's not getting what he wants, right? So let's just be very clear. No matter how powerful and successful you are, and in fact, the way you respond to not getting what you want actually plays a big role in whether you will eventually get what you want, right? Because if you don't get what you want and you go, I'm pathetic, I'm stupid, I don't have the tools, the ability, right? Those self-defeating beliefs are going to knock you back, and you're never going to get up and try again, right? Because this is what you might have noticed, right? Failure, is pretty much inevitable if you are aiming, and certainly even more so if you're aiming big. In fact, the biggest failures never fail. They sit on the sidelines telling you why it's not going to work. And they're always right. Because how can you score a goal if you don't get on the field? And if you do get on the field and lose, as the Dalai Lama says, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. That's why they say in Silicon Valley, fail fast, fail often. Because those failures that's your MBA. That's your education. Entrepreneurs, and there I see Leslie, one of our great entrepreneurs. Yeah. Those aren't, I bet you, Leslie, we could sit here and Leslie and I'm going to expose your business, because I know any great entrepreneur has failed multiple times, right? And in fact, we know that entrepreneurs fail on average 3.8 times before they finally succeed, right? And so it's that failure, not getting what you want, and how you respond to that. Do you bounce back up or not? You know, Bill Gates said the biggest impediment to progress is success, because success makes us complacent. Because you think, oh, I keep, you know, this is working, and boom, you don't actually innovate or try anything different. In fact, he says success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking that they can't lose, right? And the fact is, we are going to lose. And in fact, the more that we achieve, the more that we will lose before we do achieve. And that's why we need to fail forward, right? Fail often, fail fast, right? And begin again more wisely. So I got to tell you that for me personally, success was always a little bit of a mystery. You know, those kids just didn't have to work hard at school and got an A+. I was the kid who had to work really hard for my D-. And at our school, if you weren't good academically, you had one other chance to redeem yourself: sport. Unfortunately, I had the eye-hand coordination of a blind amputee. So at my school, I mean, if I was ever lucky to get it into a team, I'd usually be reserve orange peeler. And if I actually did have to make it on the field, I took a defensive strategy: get back, stay back, and try not to die. And the truth is, I was a little bit of a troubled kid. I was also really skinny. So when I wore a tie, all you really saw was the tie. And I had no confidence. I couldn't even look people in the eye. In fact, if I ever, you know, happened to build up the courage to ask a girl out and she happened to say yes, I would have asked her if she wanted to think it over. The truth is that I was a little bit of a depressed kid, you know, and in fact, there were times where I wanted to end it all. Don't worry, I didn't do it. And I think that I didn't do it because I kept this diary, and I remember writing this question: what is the meaning of life? I was a pretty easygoing kid, easygoing and cheery. What is the meaning of life? And I wrote there this one word, and this word, boy, man, this word was transformative for me, because this one word I wrote was growth. Growth. If the meaning of life is growth, well, then my biography didn't have to be my destiny. My past didn't have to be my future. Yeah. And that was powerful. That excited me. That gave me hope, because if I was unhappy, well, I could become happier. If I lacked confidence, I could grow more confident. I didn't have the body that I wanted. I could build that body. If our family didn't have the things that my friends' families had, well, maybe I could find a way to get money, maybe even, create wealth one day. That was really exciting. The idea that I could get more, that I could have more, that I could become more. But what followed was a little bit more troubling. And that was how. Because goodness knows they did not teach us that at school. Isn't it crazy? We go through all those years at school and they teach us a lot of things, and a lot of important things, but man, they do not teach us how to create wealth. How to start a business, how to transform your body, how to be healthy, how to be happy, how to live. Crazy, right? That's just like kind of taken for granted, because if you look around, you can see everybody's really good at that, right? They're like super, super good, right? They've all got the health, the finances, the business, the happiness, the confidence that they want, right? So clearly the schools were like, oh, no, we don't need, no, let's not waste time with that. I believe that's when the seed of my life mission was sown, because what I decided was that I would figure it out, man. I would figure it out for me. And if I didn't get it, there must be many people who didn't get it either. And then I would share it. But first I needed to figure it out. And I devoured personal development books. I improved my grades so that I could study psychology at Rhodes University. I started writing a book that did really well. I wrote another one. I became an international conference speaker. I had the privilege to speak to organizations around this country and in fact around the world. And that was amazing. It was like, wow, I've figured this out to a large degree. Listen, we never figure anything out entirely. Don't get me wrong. This is a continual process. It's a continual process, but certainly those major goals were achieved. And I spent the past 20 years sharing this within organizations, but it felt to me like something was missing, because That mission right back then as an 11-year-old kid was that one day I could share this with others, people like me directly, people like you, not just people within organizations. And so that's why I started X Life, and that's why I am doing this particular session, 3X Factors of Success, so that I can work directly with individuals. And so that's exactly what we are going to be doing in this session. So are you ready for your 3X Factors of Success? If you are, give me some love, show me some enthusiasm, give me the wave. Yes, yes, beautiful. Sheila, I see it. Leslie, I'm getting the hearts. There's Stephen, there's Teresa. Yay, Dawn, Cara, fantastic. Man, I'm loving this, right? Who says that you can't have a real connection and energy in a virtual session? Guys, before I share these 3X factors, I want to share one thing with you. A lot of us are sitting in these kind of Zoom sessions through the day. And I want to give you one quick little tip here. What we know is that working from home has actually raised productivity. However, it has reduced collaboration, understandably, because we don't spend enough time creating connections. And it also, unfortunately, we seem to have increased our emotional distress. So we're seeing high rates of anxiety and depression. Now, that's complex, and we might have time to touch a little bit on that. That's something that's very close to my heart. But one thing I want to tell you right now to raise your emotional state. There's a neurochemical in the brain called serotonin. We call it the happy chemical. Now, we know that serotonin is the chemical base of happiness, largely because of the effect of two of the world's most popular drugs, Prozac and ecstasy, the rave drug ecstasy. Popping Prozac makes you happy. Popping ecstasy makes you really happy. Now, these drugs don't give you anything that you don't have already. What they do is they boost your body's own natural supply of serotonin. They boost your body's own natural supply of serotonin. Now, again, there's nothing, if you need, if you've been prescribed an antidepressant, that's fine. I'm not against psychiatric drugs, but there are natural ways to boost serotonin. And one of the most powerful ways is move. Rats who exercise on a treadmill for 90 minutes, don't ask me how they got rats to exercise on a treadmill. Maybe they put on a Jane Fonda video. But these rats, I'm really giving my age, Jane Fonda, that's the only sort of reference point that I have for an exercise video. But these rats doubled their serotonin level, Folks, when we sit still for long periods of time, guess what happens to the serotonin? It depletes. So we need to move. One of the reasons that I'm talking to you from a standing desk here, right? So I'm actually standing up, is because firstly, my energy level is going to be higher. But secondly, I'm going to boost my serotonin level. So here's what I want you guys to do right now. If you can, some of you are driving, you can't, but if you can, I want you to stand up for a moment. I want you to stand up for a moment. And I want you to stretch out your arms for me like this. Stretch out your arms for me. Now, Amy Cuddy is a professor at Harvard University, and she calls this a power pose. And what Cuddy's found is that if you stand in a power pose for just 45 more minutes, just kidding. If you stand in a power pose for just 2 minutes, Cuddy's found that you'll boost your testosterone level. Ladies, don't worry, that's not the equivalent of a sex change operation. You'll also reduce your cortisol level, that's a stress hormone implicated in weight retention, by as much as 20%. Now, let's say you've got to go and do a big presentation, or you've got to go and take on some great big hairy audacious goal, and you're not feeling so confident. Walking into the room like this is probably not the best thing to do. However, if beforehand you stand in the bathroom, preferably lock the door, you then go out normally, research shows you will be perceived as significantly more confident, even though they don't know you've been standing in the power pose. Aristotle used to tell men going into war, if you don't feel courageous, act courageous and feeling will follow. I call it changing ourselves from the outside in. Now, I want you to just lower your arms, okay, but stay standing for me. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go with what I call positive posture. What is positive posture? Positive posture is smile. Now, there's a feedback loop in the brain. When we're happy, we smile, but when we smile, we feel happy. True story. Research shows that Botox reduces depression. Not because you look in the mirror and say, wow, I've got no wrinkles, I'm so happy, but because you can't frown anymore. And so you don't have the facial feedback for negative emotion. Now, you don't need Botox. What you need to do is smile more, because when you smile more, right, you actually change the way that you feel on the inside. So folks, physiology changes psychology. Physiology changes psychology. So what's positive posture? Lift your chin, smile, stick out your chests. Ladies, don't hold back. And you feel a little different, right? It feels different how you show up in the room, right? When you step into your power, right? We think of emotion as this ephemeral thing in our heads. Folks, emotion is embodied. It is embodied. It is how we carry ourselves. It's how we say. Now, what we're going to do is get the serotonin flowing. Are you ready to get the serotonin flowing? Can I give you some natural Prozac, some natural ecstasy? Are you ready for it? If you are, give me some love. We're ready for this? All right, I want you to just move that body. Just move the body. Just even jumping up and down, right, is what you're going to do. First, you're going to get the oxygen into the brain. You're going to get the serotonin flowing. And you are going to feel better, right? You're just going to feel, we need to move. We need to move. So keep it going, man. Yeah, beautiful. Sheila, man, I am vibing with you. I am jiving with you. We are doing the shimmy, shimmy, Sheila, shimmy. Beautiful. Okay, great. Yes, lovely. Now, for those of you who want to, you can carry on standing. If you want to sit, you can sit. It's totally up to you. If you want to move through this presentation, move. Isn't it crazy? What are we told at school? Sit still and keep quiet. Sit still and keep quiet. And then we tell that kids have got ADD because they have to sit still. Who are not meant to sit still and keep quiet, folks? We're not meant to do that. We need to move. I came across some fascinating research last week. So the theory is our hunter-gatherer ancestors, right? They needed to hunt and they needed to gather. And so their cognition, their mental ability was linked to moving. But guess what? We've got the same brains as them. We are the same hunter-gatherer brains, and we're sitting still all day, right? And so when you move, guess what happens? You actually shift the oxygen, glucose, nutrients from your lower brain to your higher brain. What's lower brain, higher brain? Good news. Turns out you've got two brains. The truth is the brain is really complex, but it's helpful to think about it as two brains. Now, lower brain is your that's the part of your brain where you've got your fight or flight, your impulsiveness. That's where you kind of really, your very base instincts. Then you've got your higher brain. That's your prefrontal neocortex. That's where you've got your morality, creativity, mental focus, your ability, right? And so when we're sitting still, actually, and we're not moving and we're not really breathing, properly, we're more in a lower brain state. And that's why we can get anxious and stressed, right? But when we move or we breathe and we get that breathing, right, we really oxygenate the brain and the body, we then start to get a shift into the higher brain. And so after an exercise workout, you will almost always be more focused, more creative. You literally raise your IQ. Because your intelligence increases once you have been moving. So exercise, don't just do it for your body, folks. We want to do it for our emotional state. Research shows us that people who go into an antidepressant like Prozac versus getting into a regular exercise program get the same benefit. In fact, those who are on the exercise program get more sustained benefit for even longer, right? So this is really, really important. Okay, good. And now we need to get to our 3 X factors of success. This is me, right? Like that was the preamble, and my preambles can amble. Okay, here we go. Are you ready for your first key factor of success? If you are, give me some love. You ready for your first X factor of success? Yes? Beautiful. All right, folks. So study at Harvard University, set out to find the star performers, not just in business, but in sport, art, and science as well. Dr. Albert Rottenberg, an unfortunate name for somebody studying human potential, but Rottenberg checked IQ, culture, inheritance. He found only one factor present in the top performers in all these diverse fields, and that was motivation. What is motivation? Dictionary definition. Motivation comes from the word motive, and motive means reason. Motivation is the reason that we take action. Motivation is the reason that we take action. Think of it as motive to action, motivation, motive to action. And you're thinking, really, was that the key to success? Motivation, a motive, a reason? So imagine this. Folks, if you've got a pen and paper or a document, open it up. I want you to write down the one area of your life that you're committed to changing, whatever it is. Maybe it's your body, your health, your career, your finances. Maybe it's starting that business finally. Maybe it's doing something with that business, transforming it. What is it? I want you to write that down now. This is going to be a practical session. So write down, what is that area of your life? If you've got a clear goal, write down the goal. So if you've got a goal, got an area of your life that you're looking to transform, okay, write that down. Okay, this is a practical session. And I want you guys to leave the session with clarity about what it is that you want, where it is that you're headed, and even starting to get a sense of how you're going to get there. Okay, So have you all got something, some area of your life? If you're not quite clear about the specifics of the goal, that's okay, as long as you know what that area of your life is. Yeah, we got that? Give me a thumbs up if we're there. Okay, I want you to imagine this. Those of you who have a little bit more clarity on what the goal is, imagine Hashem comes out of the heavens and says, if you do not achieve this goal, you will die. That's not going to happen. But if that happens, do you think you would achieve it? He says, you do not make this happen, you're going to die. Do you think you'd make it happen? Do you think you'd do everything that you could to make it happen? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes? You would, right? Why, folks? For one simple reason. You would have a powerful reason. A reason. Yeah? You would have a very powerful reason. And so you see, there are two main reasons that human beings do anything: pain and pleasure. We're motivated to reduce pain, and we are motivated to increase pleasure. Nicholas, I am loving that form, man. Is that Tai Chi? I just love it. That's exactly what I love to see. This is what more of us should be doing, moving while we, is that Tai Chi? Tai Chi, beautiful. You've got such beautiful form there, man. I love it. That is super cool. Don't stop. Don't stop. I'm loving that. Okay, so pain and pleasure. Those are the key drivers, right? We are motivated to reduce pain. We're motivated to increase pleasure. That's it. Now, if you really want to see the power of this and to understand why motivation is so critical, I want to share with you what to my mind is the most powerful study of success that we have. And this was a study that took place at Stanford University in the early 1960s. Professor there, Walter Marshall, did something ingenious. He himself, I don't think, realized quite how ingenious it was at the time. He took a group of 5-year-olds. By the way, with this research, you can actually predict whether a 5-year-old is going to be successful. At age 5, you can actually predict his success. So what did they do? Took these kids one by one, put them into a room behind one-way glass. Before leaving the kid alone, the researcher said, gave them a marshmallow. Said, you can eat this marshmallow right now. What's eating a marshmallow to a 5-year-old right now? Pain or pleasure? Ecstasy, right? He said, if you wait for 15 minutes, yeah, before eating the marshmallow, what's waiting 15 minutes to a 5-year-old before eating a marshmallow? Pain or pleasure? Agony, right? You can have 2 marshmallows. So think of the marshmallow in your life, yeah? You can spend all your salary right now, or you can save and invest, start that business and have even more. You can lose your temper with your spouse, yeah? Or actually, you can take in a deep breath, calm down, yeah? Be the bigger person, yeah? Not try to be right all the time. You know you can't be right and be married at the same time. And have a better relationship, right? You can get home, sit in front of the TV with a bag of chips or a bag of marshmallows, or you can get yourself to the gym, start moving that body and actually feel better, be smarter, and be healthier, right? Do you see that in life, we are almost having to not eat the marshmallow, right? There's an old saying, do what is easy now, your life will be hard. Do what is hard now, your life will be easy. Qigong, Nicholas, thank you. Okay, Qigong, wow, that's a beautiful form. Thank you for sharing that. So, you want to see these kids. Some of them just gulp down the marshmallow, right? The researcher says you can eat one now or wait 15 minutes, forget about it. It's gone. Those usually land up at Leopold prison later in life because I want it all and I want it now is generally not a recipe for success. The truth is I would have eaten the marshmallow. Some of them are really clever. What they'll do is lick the marshmallow, but the lick's so good, they got to have another lick and then a nibble and another nibble. And then there's only half the marshmallow left. And the researcher comes in and the kid says, see, it's still there. Those usually become politicians later in life. Some of them are really clever. What they'll do is they'll turn their back on the marshmallow, right? Because if I can't see it, I'm not going to be as tempted by it, right? If you're an alcoholic, you don't go into a bar and say, I'm just looking, right? You stay away from temptation, yeah? You stay away from temptation. So they follow these kids all the way up till adulthood, and they find that the ones who are able to delay gratification for the full 15 minutes are significantly more successful, better jobs, better salaries, better body mass index, better relationships. Now, if you're thinking of going home and doing the marshmallow test on your kids and they gulp down the marshmallow, don't worry. You don't have to put them up for adoption. There is hope for them and for us. What we want to do is focus on the long-term pleasure of achieving a goal rather than the short-term pain. It's a pleasurable vision of a better tomorrow that motivates us to take action today. What does Proverbs say? Where there is no vision, the people perish. Right? And biblical times, if you never had a vision of that harvest, you would have nothing to sow, you have nothing to reap, you would perish. Now, in today's world, you can always get a social grant, so you might not perish, but your potential will. Folks, vision is the audacity to see the invisible. Vision is the audacity to see the invisible. What is your vision for yourself? Where are you 1 year from now? Where are you 2 years from now? Where are you 5 years from now? One of the things I love about Rosh Hashanah, which is coming up in early September, is that new year is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to reset our intention. Think about it like the page of a new chapter in the book of your life. How are you going to author the next chapter of your life? How are you going to author the next chapter of your life? What is the vision? It all starts here. Isn't it an amazing thing? Elon Musk, man, I'm proud of that guy. The world's greatest living entrepreneur. Who would have thought? A kid from Pretoria Boys High just became, the world's, well, it keeps changing, but the world's wealthiest entrepreneur was a few weeks ago. But to my mind, he's the world's greatest entrepreneur. Literally going to create an interplanetary species here. That's his mission. By the way, look at Elon's why. Look at Elon's why. And, at ORT, you guys, let's just talk about entrepreneurship for a moment. Look at any great entrepreneur, and they are driven by something so much more than money. And by the way, I love money. I love the good that money can do. But money is like manure. If you don't spread it around and do great things with it, then it's just a pile of shit. Okay. And the entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and so many others, what are they driven by? And the money's not the thing. The thing is the difference, the purpose. Because folks, I'm going to share with you the most powerful reason that you have to achieve anything in your life. It's called your purpose. Your purpose. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, Justin, I don't know what my purpose is. Let's wait for God to come out of the hands. Maybe he'll tell me. No, I can tell you your purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. I'm going to share with you your purpose. Give me a drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. The purpose of life is live a life of purpose. Live a life of purpose. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor. What did Viktor Frankl say? He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. He who has a why to live can bear almost. What is your why? What is your reason for being? If you don't quite have the answer to that, let me also just put a little flag up here and say, at the end of the session, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to work with me and to do a little bit more on this work, because there's so much that I can do in 60 minutes. So there is going to be an offer. And I want you to know that you don't need to take that offer, because I'm going to be giving you lots of great value in the 60 minutes. But for those of you who want to take this further, because we're talking about big things here, right? We're talking about our goals and our purpose and our mission and how we're going to transform our lives. I'm going to give you some real practical tools, and I hope that I already have. But at the end of the session, I'm going to give you an opportunity as well. So again, it's not for everyone. It's for those of you who want to get on board. And we've also done something really special here, is that we've linked it to ORT. So there is a fee on this opportunity, but that fee, 90% of it is actually going to ORT. So this is an opportunity for you to do something for yourself and to do something for the community as well. But again, it's not for everyone, and you can decide whether it's for you or not. But I'm going to start mentioning it because I want you to know purpose. Yes, the purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. But with X Life, which is my X Life membership, which is what we're going to be talking about a little bit later, is we go much deeper into that. How do we actually articulate our personal mission statement? Because here's what we know about purpose. People who have a strong sense of purpose are significantly happier. Just think about it. If you're getting up each day and you don't know your why, there's two people on a building site in the Middle Ages, and a passerby asks them, what are you doing? And the one replies, I'm cutting stone. It's boring. It's my back is killing me, but at least I get a bowl of soup at the end of the day. And he asks the other one, he says, what are you doing? He looks up at the sky, his eyes shining, smiling. He says, me, I'm building a cathedral. Who's going to be more fired up? Who's going to be more motivated? Who's going to be happier? The guy's just laying bricks, or the guy who's building something bigger than himself? without a doubt, right? That darn cathedral builder, right? And yet, if you think about it, folks, actually, they're doing the same thing. They're physically doing the same thing. You know, the most inspiring company I've ever had the privilege to work with, other than ORT, of course, is a company called Pep. Do you know that 20 years ago, Pep was nearly bankrupt? Today, they're the biggest single brand retailer in Africa. They've achieved double-digit growth every year for the past 20 years. If you ask them how they do it, they'll tell you it all comes down to purpose. 20 years ago, you ask somebody at Pep, what do you do? They'd say, we sell clothing. Today, you ask somebody at Pep, what do you do? They'll say this, we serve remarkable people. We have to get by on a very small budget so that they and their families can live with dignity and with pride, period. No, that's it. Once they got clear about their purpose, they were able to create school uniforms at a price that nobody else can, but at the quality of a much higher price product, because you can't give people cheap things that are going to fall apart and respect their pride. I met people at the shop floor level and senior executives who told me, Justin, I know I could be earning more and doing less at another company, but I choose to be a Pep because at Pep, I know I'm making a difference. As the MD likes to say, a company that only exists to make money is a very poor company indeed. Elon Musk is the entrepreneur that he is because he wasn't aiming to create another billion. He is driven by a purpose. He believes that we need to become an interplanetary species. We have got to get people on Mars. Now, you might think that's cuckoo. You might think that's crazy. You might not even think it's a good idea. That's not the point. The point is that that purpose of his, we've got to become an interplanetary species and get people on Mars. Look what it did. It meant that he created PayPal, right? Because he needed finance. It meant that he created Tesla because he needed to create alternative fuels, right? It means that he created SpaceX, right? Which is just, you know, taken rockets for NASA up into, you know, into the heavens, right? So all of these things that he did. So at the end of the day, whether he gets us to Mars or not, doesn't really, I mean, to him it matters. I don't know if it really matters to me as much, but the point is that purpose is what got him to create all these other things. And so do you see how powerful and important your purpose is, your sense of mission? And here's the thing, we can all create it. And that's exactly what we do in X Life, is we get very clear about our mission statement, because when you are on purpose, when you are driven by a mission, when you are motivated by something that is bigger than you, about contribution, even if it is just your family, it doesn't have to be, you know, Mars. It could be to your family. It could be to your community. Look at the great purpose of ORT. Look at the great work that this organization does, right? Lisa and her team and everybody else who does so much in this organization, right? That's purpose, right? So you know, we're talking big here. It can be, purpose is big wherever it is because it's your why. That's your why. Okay, folks, so your first key to success is motivation. So whatever goal you have written down or area of your life that you want to change, folks, if you have not been changing it, well, you probably haven't created a big enough reason for yourself. You've got to create a reason for yourself. What is the pleasure that you'll get? What is the sense of accomplishment? How will this grow you and serve others? What is the pain that you will take away, right? We need to be very clear about this. And overall, what is the purpose that drives us? You might say, Justin, I want to lose weight. How does that serve my purpose? Well, listen, whatever your purpose is, if you're going to achieve it, you need energy, you need vitality, you need health, right? You need the ability to transform yourself. So losing weight, not that I love that as a particular goal, you know, but getting into that, you know, health or body shape is ultimately going to serve any purpose, right? So you see, purpose is very broad. The goal is very specific. And folks, that brings us to our second key X factor of success, and that is goals. And what I'm going to start doing is sharing my screen, because you're going to start also getting a sense of where we're going with X. Just a reminder, I'm going to start sharing a little bit about X. Okay, so the Psychology of Success is one of the key programs on X Life. So we've touched a little bit about this, motivation. We also get deep into belief, right? I mean, belief is, you know, we talk about iceberg beliefs because often we don't even know our own beliefs, but we have these self-defeating beliefs like I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or most of my life I believed that, you know, and that really held me back, right? Until we can actually detonate those self-defeating beliefs, we can't move past them, right? And we want to replace those beliefs with empowering beliefs, right? That actually enable us to go forward. So it's about, yes, figuring out our own motivational blueprint, figuring out, detonating those self-defeating beliefs and creating beliefs that actually work for us. And in the psychology of success, these are all short video-based courses. No video is more than about 5 to 6 minutes. So it's really something you can get in real quick and actually give yourself those tools, those ideas, that information to transform yourself. I sold this program for nearly $200, but I'm actually going to show you how to get this program for free as we go through this. Then we go to goals. Now, I think it's already apparent, right? We've already been speaking about these goals, but I want to ask is, how many of you have got goals? If you got goals, just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, you got a goal. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, look, you rocked up at this session, right? That was a goal. Well done. And listen, not everybody did. Some people said they were going to be here and didn't be here. So kudos to you guys. You are committed to your transformation. You are committed to your growth. You are committed to your personal development. Some people thought they were committed, said they were coming and didn't come, right? So what's going on there, right? You're already a step ahead because you showed up, right? And that's a goal achieved. So now let me ask you this. How many of you got clear, written, well-formulated goals that you've broken into sub-goals, setting timeframes to achieve them? When that goal is achieved, you congratulate yourself. If it isn't, you reschedule. How many of you got those clear, written goals? Give me a thumbs up if you've got clear, written goals that you've broken into sub-goals. No? Okay, so I don't see all of you right now because I'm looking at the screen, but in my experience, very, very few people. And here's what we know. People with clear, written, well-formulated goals that they've broken into sub-goals, they've got that plan of action, are significantly more successful. And interestingly, folks, they're happier as well. Do you know that excitement that you get when you think about achieving a goal? Right, so that's actually a neurochemical in the brain called dopamine. And guess what boosts dopamine? Cocaine. The reason that cocaine is so addictive, because cocaine artificially boosts dopamine. But you give yourself some natural cocaine when you just think about achieving a goal, or just think about having a goal, right? So when you get excited about a goal, like, oh, wow, look, I could do this, or I could do that, I could change my body, I could, get that, transform my finances, you get that dopamine boost, right? And so this is why goals really are a great contributor to our happiness. And it's not always about necessarily achieving it. By the way, most people overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a year, right? And so that's just one of the ways our brains work. Again, our brains evolved to deal with an environment which was very present-based, right? There wasn't much of a future, right? So that's why we struggle a little bit with the future. And that's why we need to actually develop this future casting, this ability to actually, again, envision that future. So in the goals program, you're going to get 3 powerful formulas that have been, many of these, by the way, everything that I share is science-based. These formulas have been, have all been road tested out there and make a significant difference. In fact, there's one tool that I'm going to share with you that has been shown to triple goal achievement. And a lot of it has to do with how we articulate the goal and how we communicate it. Now, the one thing, and I want to give you something right now that's really important. This is the biggest mistake that people make with goals, is they are too broad. They are too broad. So they'll say things like, I want to be successful. What does that mean? Folks, your brain is like a waiter. Imagine going into a restaurant and the waiter says, what do you want? And you say, well, it's a restaurant, I'll have some food. And that's not wrong, but how will that waiter know what to get for you? Well, it's the same with your brain. If you say to your brain, I want success, your brain's like, dude, I don't know. What do you mean by that, right? So, you say, well, okay, I want to lose weight. All right, well, run around the block. You've lost 1 gram. Yeah. I want more money. Here's $1. Great, you've got more money, right? So what we need to ensure is that we are specific. This is the biggest mistake that we make. We're not specific. The brain, look, so much of what happens for success is unconscious. So much. In fact, over 50% of our behavior is actually habitual. We're not even aware of it. And so we need to make sure that when we communicate, I think of your brain as the supercomputer, and it really is a supercomputer. In fact, no supercomputer on the planet is as powerful as the brain. So it's the way that you program that supercomputer that determines whether it's actually going to deliver for you or not. And so And so how we articulate our goals to ourselves, whether they are clearly specific and measurable, and then how we formulate those makes a big difference. Okay, so your first key factor of success is motivation, right? Motivation. Your second key factor of success is a goal, right? Too many people are firing and then aiming. You know, we got to aim. We got to aim at what it is that we want. And then, folks, the third, absolutely critical here is habit. Aristotle said it, excellence is not an act, it's a habit. It is what we repeatedly do. It is what we repeatedly do. If you want to know the difference between fat and thin, it's habits. If you want to know the difference between rich and poor, it's habits. You want to know the difference between being loved and being despised, it's habits, social habits, right? Rich and poor is financial habits. Happy or anxious is mental habits. Yeah, mental habits. There are specific things that we do. On X Life, we've actually got an anxiety program. And a lot of people think that there's been a lot of kind of pathologizing of things like anxiety. Folks, this is just emotional states, and emotional states, we are largely determined by our mental habits, by the way that we're focusing our attention, or by the kinds of thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't certain cases where, psychiatric drugs may be appropriate, but I can tell you the research is very clear. I'm doing my doctorate at Middlesex at the moment on this, and on emotional distress, because there's a lot of it around and we need to understand it. And we've seen massive increases in anxiety and depression over the past, not just COVID, even before COVID, which is kind of weird because, aligned with that, we also live in the most unprecedented comfort and safety in the history of humankind. Poverty, let's just take COVID out of the equation for the moment. And the truth is COVID is a blip, right? If we look over the past 50 years, we've seen reductions in poverty, reductions in crime. Yes, even South Africa. People say, yeah, but what about South Africa? South Africa, we still overall, the trend overall is increases in physical well-being. And yet we've seen these increases in emotional distress. Now, that's complex. We don't have enough time to get into that right now. But one thing is for sure, a lot of it has got to do with how we are actually using our mind. So habits are core to achieving whatever it is that you want in whatever area of your life that is. In fact, some of you might even be on this. I've actually just started my Rapid Change Challenge. Rapid Change Challenge, we're in the middle of the week on this now. It's a 7-day challenge. By the way, those of you who would like to connect with me, just connect with me by going to xlife.zone. That's www.xlife. When we next do a Rapid Change Challenge, I will invite you to get onto that. It's a 7-day challenge. And that's where you actually start creating micro habits. Because here's the thing that we know about habits. The reason that most people don't take on new habits, like new health habits, new finance habits, is they try and do too much too soon. Remember motivation. Motivation is about pleasure. Pleasure and ease are big motivators. And so if it's very difficult, yes, we need to have a vision, which will hopefully enable us to do the difficult thing. But if we start very small with what I call micro habits, right, that are 30 to 60 seconds, if we link and root those, these are like little seeds. And if you plant them in the right place in your life, they will grow roots and branches, yeah, and they will naturally start to grow. People say, yeah, okay, I'm going to start exercising for an hour a day, but that's 10% of your day, even more, right? But if you say, hey, I'm going to, for 30 seconds, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but, 30 seconds, I'm going to do 3 press-ups. I'm going to meditate for 30 seconds before I go to bed. It doesn't sound like a lot, but once you've got that habit and it's properly rooted into your day, it will naturally start to expand. And so I share all that with you in the just loaded up a new program there, How to Become a Habit Master, because honestly, I don't know anything that's more important than the ability to transform habits. People say, Justin, you're so disciplined because I exercise every day. I'm like, are you disciplined because you brush your teeth? Would you consider yourself no, you're a toothbrushing addict, right? You're a toothbrushing addict. That's what you are. Now we got to get you to become an addict to all those other positive behaviors, right? And you've done it before with toothbrushing and a bunch of other good things. We can do it, but there's a technology here. And so just let me be very clear about something, because a lot of people say to me, Justin, I don't know, I'm lazy. I can't be, when people say that to me, oh my gosh, how we just get it so wrong. I'm lazy, I'm undisciplined, I don't have willpower. Let me be very clear, folks. That's not true. Okay, it is not true. It's not willpower. Willpower is not the problem. It's way power. You just need the right way. Don't blame yourself, blame the strategy. There's a very specific operating system between our ears. If you're not getting the results that you want, it's not because there's anything wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not defective. All right. It's just that we have been fed a lot of myths about change. The habits comes from some groundbreaking research that's been done by Professor J.B. Fogg at Stanford University. So that's the other thing. What I'm sharing with you are tried and tested formulas for transforming behavior, for creating change that lasts. And the beautiful thing with micro habits is you can do it quickly and easily. And I know that sounds like, almost snake oil, quickly and easily. Yes, because you're starting with micro. And we want it to be easy, because the easier it is, the more pleasurable it is. The more pleasurable it is, the more motivated you are. The more motivated you are, the more likely you will do it. Make sense? It makes sense? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah? Okay, beautiful. All right, folks, my time is fleeting. Just a quick one on Forbes magazine ran an article on the habits of the rich. And I just find this fascinating. They describe the wealthy earning more than $160,000 per annum and versus under 30,000. Obviously, this is in America. Our numbers are different. But the point is, look at these difference in habits. 67% have clear written goals of the wealthy. Just 17% of the poor do. 84% have a habit focus. Just 4% of the poor have a habit focus. This I find fascinating. 76% exercise 4 times a week. 76% exercise 4 times a week. Just 23% of the poor do. Interestingly, I did an event. I was very privileged to get to do an event a few weeks ago with Deepak Chopra and Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield has written a book on billionaires. He says he does not know a single billionaire that does not meditate. He doesn't know a single billionaire that does not meditate. So these behaviors and also exercise, they're all exercise and they're all meditating. They invest in self-improvement, right? They don't, because they get it. The school system didn't set us up. It gave us some important skills, don't get me wrong, but it missed out on some absolutely critical ones. Okay, so on X Life, there's also a health program. So if you are looking to getting lean, fit, and energized, there's a wealth program as well. And we always add new master classes. In fact, I'm really excited about a master class. I interviewed Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, best-selling personal finance book of all time. And that interview, I did it on my show, CNBC Africa, and that interview is available. It's really powerful. Those of you who are not familiar with Kiyosaki, it's just really foundational tools for creating wealth. But it made me realize that I've also got a rich dad. And my rich dad is a guy called Kurt Coetzee. Kurt Coetzee is probably the biggest buy-to-let investor on the continent. And many years ago, I had the privilege to get to know him, and I followed his formula. And in following his formula, I acquired 12 buy-to-let properties. And I did it with, back then, I really didn't have many financial resources. But that's nothing. Kurt talks about a policeman, who's followed this formula, on a policeman's salary, acquired 50 of these properties. Now, that masterclass where we go talk right through the formula and how that works step by step is on X Life as well. So really the whole concept of X Life is it's a membership that gives you access to all this great content to transform whatever area of your life. Now, for some of you right now, it's your health. For some of you right now, it's your wealth. Yeah, for some of you right now, it's your emotional state, your happiness. This is something that's huge for me because I struggled as a kid. I was a really unhappy, depressed kid. At times, I was a suicidal kid. And now I'd consider myself probably in the top, percentile of, happy people on the planet. So I know what it's like to struggle emotionally. And I had the privilege actually to be the Johnny Walker, Matt Killingsworth is a professor at Harvard University. He was appointed for the Joy Takes You Further Global Happiness Campaign. I was appointed for South Africa. This was a few years ago. And we actually developed this program, this happiness program, very specific, very practical, very research-based on how we can actually raise our emotional state. And then relationships. Some of you might know me from Single Wives. That was a show. I think it's actually still on DSTV at the moment. It was on Mnet last year. And I wrote a book there called Winning with Relationships, 21 Laws of Influence in Love and Business. Because here's the thing, and this is, you know, I know we talk a lot about these different factors of success, and it is complex. There are a number of aspects to it. I just want to take a quick moment on relationships. You know, the Grant study of human thriving, it's the longest longitudinal study of all time. And they wanted to see, you know, what were those keys to success. And they thought it would be IQ, you know, whether you were at Harvard or not. And they found really at the end of the day, people who earned $120,000 more a year than those who earned the least, those who were least on this particular factor, and they were happier. And what was that factor? The warmth of their relationships. The warmth. And if you think about it, right, when you're in conflict, when you're fighting with someone, when you're holding a resentment, a grudge, how happy are you? You know, we are social creatures. We depend on our relationships for our success. There's an old saying, your net worth depends on your network. Your net worth depends on your network. So as part of, you know, the X-Life membership gives you the Winning with Relationships. It's the book, it's the audiobook, and it's a program as well. I think I did a session for ORT on Pitch to Win. I think that would have been last year, right, Lisa? And so there is a whole Pitch to Win program. So for those of you who need to present, persuade, close the deal, and quite frankly, we've all got to pitch. We've got to pitch our kids, right, on doing their homework. We've got to pitch our partner on where to go on holiday. Yeah. And yes, we've got to be able to go out there and pitch for new business. We've got to pitch customers. We've got to pitch investors. And so that is a video-based program. There's also my best-selling book, and it's a 6-step process. So really, there's a lot. And some of you might be thinking, okay, gosh, Justin, that sounds amazing. There's a lot of stuff going out there. That's why this is a membership. You get to come in, you know, with wherever it is with what you need. There's also the ultimate breakthrough formula. This is a 5-step process. It's called the 5 Master Question Coach. If you're really struggling right now, you know, you've got a challenge, a difficult. I just want you to know, if you are struggling, whatever area that is, whether it is your finances, your business, whatever it is, folks, the greatest thing that ever happened to David was Goliath. Adversity is the way that life educates us. This is life. You're either in a problem, emerging from a problem, or about to go into a problem. And the reward for solving problems is that you tend to become more successful, you get more money, you get more prestige, you help people more, and you get bigger problems to solve. And so instead of saying, oh no, there's a problem that shouldn't be happening, say, yes, there's a problem that should be happening. Do you know that one of the really compelling reasons for why anxiety and depression has gone up, this is going to sound really counterintuitive, is because we live in such great comfort. You might be like, huh? Well, I don't get that. Well, it turns out that in World War II, there were very low levels of anxiety and depression, very low levels. And there was research being done. Why? Because they had a purpose, they had a mission, they had an enemy to fight, right? That's what the focus on, right? But now, when we live these very comfortable, very sedentary lives, and don't get me wrong, I know some of you got real struggles and difficulties in your life. And I'm not suggesting that everybody on this call is all just, you know, sitting back. I know that some of us, you know, they're real issues. It might be a relationship issue, a financial issue. But overall, our physical comfort is really there and tends to be there. Again, you know, with respect, I understand we've all got different, you know, as Lisa said, you know, that was my quote, be kind to everyone. Everyone's fighting a hidden struggle. And I don't know what your struggle is, but the theory is that because we actually, we're running from problems, we're running from struggles, we're running from challenges. What we really should be doing is facing these challenges. The Japanese have got this beautiful word, masoji, and masoji means doing difficult things because they're difficult. And here's what we know, folks. We know that people who have very easy lives where there's very little challenge are not as happy. So this is well researched, are not as happy as people who've had to overcome a challenge, had to overcome difficulty. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are, you know, massive changes that you just can't overcome, that's going to make you unhappy. But when it is something that happens and you step up to it and you face it, you're actually better off than somebody who doesn't have those challenges. And so in the ultimate breakthrough formula, I'm going to share with you 5 questions to break through that challenge, whatever it is, personal, business, relationship, financial, or emotional. And for those of you who are struggling with anxiety, this is the area that I do a lot of work in, particularly my doctorate at the moment. There is a program there as well. So I know that it is just coming up to past, and I know that let me just, I know that Dawn is, this is a really an odd situation because I'm going to ask Dawn to, I'm not sure exactly what, maybe just say, thanks, Justin. And then I'm going to carry on now because I know, because this was going to be 1 hour. So those of you who need to leave now, or, leave after, Dawn, I understand. Those of you who would like to hear a little bit more about X-Life and how it works, I've really got something very, very special here. And as I said, this is going to benefit ORT as well, over 90% of it. So for those of you who would like to stay afterwards, I'll be about another 10 minutes and I'll show you how you can become an X-Life member and get access to all of these programs at really a fraction of what they are generally available out there for. So I've really put something special together. So we'll be 10 more minutes. Again, no hard feelings. Anybody needs to go, please feel free to, but I'm going to hand over to Dawn now.
So, hey, Justin, how are you doing?
Hi, Dawn. I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Nice to see you. Thank you. But Justin, why don't I do this after the next 10 minutes? I'm happy to thank you because I want to stay.
Oh, cool. Are you able to stay? Okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I'd love to stay. Everyone happy with that?
Fantastic.
You're
Cool.
at the end. I mean, I might have to change what I was going to say about you after 10 minutes. So let's see what happens. But I'm cool.
Great.
Let's wait. I'd love to hear the rest of what you have to say.
Thanks, Dawn. That's wonderful. Excellent. Okay, good, folks. Well, again, I know that we said we were going to end at past. Anybody has to go, feel free to. For those of you who are up to hearing a little bit more about your X-Life membership and how it can actually benefit ORT, stick around and I'm going to get back onto my screen. So we were talking about all these programs. So with your X-Life membership, these are video-based programs. And each program has whatever it is, could be between 10 and 15 videos, no videos more than about 5 minutes. And it's very practical, right? And so you get to do the sessions, these programs that you want when you want. So how does X-Life membership work? So you get all of these courses and more. Remember, we're always adding masterclasses. I think that we've got to actually do an interview with Dawn at some point, because that's one of the things that I love to do, is to actually also do interviews with great entrepreneurs and share their secrets of success. So there's courses, there's masterclasses, and we're adding to that all the time. But as they say on the telly, that's not all. That's just what the member zone looks like. So you get those video courses. Some of you also get audio as well. So you can actually get if those of you like to listen to this while you exercise, and that's a little bit on how the interface works. Okay, so you get a success journey. So when you sign up for membership, you get a journey. And the journey is from week 1, I introduce you to a new program. It could be the psychology of success. It could be goals. So you get clear about your goals and your purpose. Week 3 would be your habits. And so this goes through a series of weeks where I introduce you to one of these courses. Now, you don't have to do the success journey. Some people say, well, yeah, I want to get straight into it. Well, you can get straight into it. You can say, hey, I want to go straight to habits. I want to go straight to, the breakthrough, the ultimate breakthrough formula. I want to go straight through to the unlearning anxiety program, right? So you have access to everything all the time, but just to guide you through this, there's also the success journey where once a week, I introduce you to a new course, which you can then choose to do or not. So this is really, really flexible. I've done this the way I wanted this, because sometimes I like that direction and guidance. Sometimes I just want to do things at my own time and my own pace. So you can choose exactly how you do this. So ordinarily, this would be $74 access. Folks, the other thing is you might be thinking, why is this in dollars? So this is an international program. And I know that we've got probably only South Africans, so it might seem really odd that it's dollar-based, but it's an international program. In fact, most people on X-Life are actually not South African. And so we've got a payment portal, which is international. And so that's why it's dollar-based. But I think you can see from the numbers there, it's very reasonable. And for this session, I'm going to do something even better than that. So ordinarily $74 access, $9.99 per month, and you can cancel at any time. So you can come on in, do the courses that you want, or you can continue. I hope you'll continue and you'll stay with us, because this is a membership. So how does the membership work? You also get VIP invitations. As I mentioned just a couple of months ago, I was speaking with Deepak Chopra and Les Brown, Jack Canfield. You also get weekly sparks. These are weekly science-based self-improvement tips, because I figured that's also, sometimes it's not a whole course. As Lisa said earlier, sometimes it's just that quote that just fires you, that gets you excited, because wow, I can actually put this into my life right now. The weekly spark, same thing. It'll take, generally it's no more than about 150, 200 words. So it's real quick. How to be happier than a lottery winner. The most likable people do this. The best way to read someone's personality, right? So a real quick insight, a spark, I call it, that you can immediately apply to uplifting any area of your life. There's also a Facebook group, and this is really important. That's why this is a membership. I'm not just doing a course. I used to just sell courses, by the way. I used to sell courses. Now I sell memberships. Why? Because I want to create a community. Because remember, right at the start, we spoke about how contagious emotion and behavior is. Now, some of you might be really lucky and you've got friends and family who lift you up and are focused and are on that personal transformation journey. But some of you do not. Well, I want to give you the access to that community. I told you we're in the middle of doing a rapid change challenge. We're right in the middle of that this week. And it's just so amazing, because we go into the group and people are cheering each other on, and they're supporting each other, and they're giving each other a bit of advice. And that's all contagious. And we know this. The Framington Heart Study has this. If you've got a close friend who becomes obese, you have a 51% increased chance of becoming obese yourself. Now, that is no excuse to blame somebody for dropping your diet. But the point is that we pick up on people's behavior without even realizing it. Now, here's the good news. If you've got a close friend who loses a lot of weight, you've got a 57% chance of losing weight too, just because you start to see what they're doing and you pick up on their behavior. And the same, by the way, if somebody a close friend starts a business, close friend becomes happier. All of that actually increases the chance of you starting a business, of you becoming happier. So we give you this community of people who are focused on their transformation, who are focused on raising the quality of their lives and taking themselves to the next level. For those of you who want live monthly training, that should actually be $37. It's an extra $37 a month, and that is an extra fee for those of you who want that live training. Not everybody wants live training, but live training means that you get coached by me. I get to connect with you, ask me anything, and we can actually have a connection and a dialogue. So that's what it is. It's over 10 courses, the VIP invitations, the Sparks archive, the private group, the live monthly training, and to sign up, go to www.xlife.zone/join. Now, I'm convinced that it is worth this and a lot more, but I've got a special offer for you. Before I share that with you, just so you know why I'm saying what I'm saying, is that I want you to go back to your goal that you wrote down at the beginning, or that particular area of your life that you want to transform. And I want to ask you, what would it be worth for you to change that? And my bet is that it'd be worth way more than this. And the whole point about this is about transforming not just that area of your life, but whatever area of your life that you want to transform. So I'm not cutting the price now because I don't think it's worth that. I know it's worth more. I know people who've gone through just that buy-to-let property masterclass that with Kurt Kutsia, have already started buying a property. I mean, like that is just, you can't quantify the potential of the investment. But I want this to be accessible to as many people as possible. And so here's what I'm going to do is give you a 50% discount on that. It's $37 registration fee, $4.99 per month. Now, the $37 goes to ORTJet. The $37, 100% goes to ORTJet. The $4.99 maintains your membership, and obviously we've got some costs to keep this running. But that $37, 100% goes towards it. So if you sign up now, not only are you giving yourself this opportunity, but you also are supporting this community. So when you go to xlife.zone/join, that's what you should be seeing on your screen. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do something else. I remember that live training. If you sign up today, I'm going to include that. So you get the live monthly training that's with me, where we get to interact, connect. I even coach people on those live trainings. So you can actually share your specific issues with me if you want to, or you can just participate. So that's included. I'm going to include that. So you get all of this, live monthly training, Facebook group, the Sparks Archive, all of that. Now, if you go to xlife.zone/join, you are going to get to something that looks like this. This is an interface that's used by many of the big organizations. It's really as secure as you would ever get anywhere. You know, it's as secure as buying something on Amazon. If you want to see the Rand, and I don't know what the Rand is doing today. Let me just quickly, I think we're at Rand changing all the time at the moment. I think it's about 550 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. That's about what it is that you're going to pay. So it's about 550 bucks. But there is a little currency converter at the top as well. So you can actually check that for yourself if you would like to do that. All right. So just before I hand over to Dawn, I'm just going to stop share here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in the chat. So what you can do is, so it's xlife.zone/join. So I'm putting it in the chat. So you can actually just cut and paste that if you want to take a look at that. All right, good. If anybody has got it, I just see, I'm seeing some lovely comments coming in there. Forgive me, I haven't seen the chat for a little while, but I'm hearing Cindy saying this has been such a valuable session, feeling inspired. Thank you for insight and energy. You're so welcome, Cindy. Neil says, thanks, this has been a great way to start the day. You're so welcome, Neil. And Nicholas, thanks for the insight. So that's great. And if anybody has got, oh, wonderful. There's Stephen from BidFood. Yeah, Stephen, thanks. Remember those sessions very fondly. If anybody's got any questions about xLife, you can put them in the chat. I see we're down to about 10 or 16 people, but I'm going to hand over to Dawn now. And in the meantime, if you put any questions in the chat, once Dawn is closed, I will answer any questions that you might have. Dawn, over to you.
So thank you, Justin. Justin, I've known for quite a long time. In fact, the first time I heard him, I think, was in 2010 at one of the travel conferences we had. But Jason, it's really hard to actually say something after spending an hour listening to you. It is very hard. And the last time you and I shared a platform was that I'm an entrepreneur. And I thankfully went before you because going after you is just very, very difficult for me. But I cannot thank you enough for what you do for the community and for always saying yes. I've often reached out to you and said, Justin, please, can you do this one? And you never say no. So really a huge thank you for giving back of your time and your effort and just sharing your incredible pearls of wisdom and your insights and doing it in such an energetic and powerful way. So it's so strange, you know, when you crossed over at 9:30, at exactly the same time, I received a message from a friend of mine, Michael Louis, who's actually done a couple of sessions for us as well, or JET, the Board of Deputies. And I have to share it with you because I think it's so apt. And I do believe in the divine prophecy and, you know, messages come to us. And I want to share it with you because it came to me at exactly 9:30. He says, making money is great. But when you build something that solves a serious problem that helps make other people's lives better, That is the real gift of life. So I want to thank you for giving us this incredible, incredible gift of life this morning. You've inspired us. I will never think of purpose again without thinking of ecstasy. I will never ever think of goals again without thinking of cocaine. So I don't know if that's the message I was supposed to take from it, but I really want to thank you for giving us these practical nuggets that we can take in our everyday life and use them. And really, I'm so grateful for you for everything you do, and keep inspiring. You're making a huge difference to so many people, and I thank you on behalf of ORT and everyone here today. Thank you so much indeed. Thanks.
So that was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful tribute. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. It's my privilege.
Thanks, Justin. Really appreciate. Thanks everyone for joining us, and just keep safe and keep warm.